Hello and welcome to the Coffee Talkie Show, the podcast for women living abroad. And today we have a great episode about being
out of focus,
around focusing on something, or like, you get it, we're unfocused right now, and that's exactly the topic.
Exactly. So we invite you. We just had our coffee, so we are without ours, but we invite you to grab your coffee and stay tuned into today's episode. Let's just have a flowing conversation about that. So, the reason why we wanted to talk to you about today is that we have to tell you, we are doing this podcast for about a year now, and every time we just come up with an idea that is based on something that either we are dealing with, or that we see online a lot, or that we believe that is going to be really valuable to you. And sometimes we just share our real conversations. And this topic that we wanted to bring to you today, this idea of like being focused on something or completely out of and just doing so many things at the same time, this is something we are dealing with. So we wanted to bring you in because it's really, really relevant to you if you're planning to move abroad, if you're maybe living already abroad. Those are things we deal with.
I think it's a situation that's happening to a lot of people, you know, when you're trying to deal with so many things at once that you're actually not focused on anything. And while moving abroad, you know, while preparing this move abroad, we have so many things to do. And I don't know about you, but for us, it's like we're all over the place, you know, trying to deal with technical and logistical things, and trying to deal with ourselves and with the day-to-day and the job and the house and social life and family, and it's like so frustrating sometimes. And you say to yourself, and maybe you can relate when you're saying, but I'm doing so many things, how come I haven't done nothing? It's like you're wasting so much energy trying to do everything, but nothing gets done.
Oh, this is so frustrating. And in my head right now, I'm like, it's just like the feeling of, and you know, you make fun of me every single time I share it with you. Like, I have about 100 tabs open on my Chrome page, because I'm always like, ooh, I also need to take care of that. Ooh, there's this thing as well. And life is exactly the same thing. I have to share with you. So this weekend, I cleaned the house. And sometimes I really think like something's crazy in there. Because like, I would walk from one room to another, and with an intention to do something, and in the way I'll go, I've done 10 other things, including like seeing my puzzle that is on the table and be like, oh, I just saw this piece. It's like, and then I wonder why it took me 4 hours to clean my house. But it's because we are not doing a specific thing. And I think we have like this tendency to think that we can multitask.
Especially women. We think like we're superheroes. We can do everything. We can talk on the phone while cooking, while thinking of something else. And then it's like a whole mess, usually. Maybe you're different. But the most of us, it's like the end result is totally mess.
Yeah, but then like, that's what I love when sometimes we call it me time. When I'm like, okay, right now, I'm gonna do this. And it's really hard. Like, I really have to force myself to do only one thing at once.
Oh, well, you talked about me time. Me time is specifically something for yourself, but ideally, we should do that for everything, you know, trying to do one thing, get it done, and then go to the other. There's this really great metaphor that I heard a couple of years ago. I told you about it. It's like, imagine you have 5 doors of 5 different rooms that you need to arrange and clean up. And so you come, you open the first one, you see the mess in there. Maybe you do a couple of things, then you pass to the other one, you open it up, and then maybe you arrange a couple of more things, and the other one and the other one. Instead of just, you know, opening one room, get it done, close the door, pass to the other one, you find yourself with 5 different rooms, all messy, and trying to, you know, taking bits by bits, and it's so much harder actually. We think it's better that we multitask and yeah, I've got it, you know, under control. Everything is under control. I have everything. Like, I see everything, but it's actually much more energy is going on this, and many times much more time. And it's not only about things for myself.
It's like less efficient.
It's for everything. You know, it's for job, it's for, you know, paperwork, it's for social life. Like, how many times are you know, sitting with a friend, and instead of being with a friend, you're like, oh, I have to make dinner, so I have to go to the grocery store and buy this and this. Oh, I have to buy a present for my sister, it's her birthday. And oh, I haven't called my mom. And oh, I forgot to file this document for my visa. And like, hey, dude, you're sitting with your friend. Be there for an hour, enjoy it, you know, let it charge you with energy, and then go and do something else.
Yeah.
It makes much more sense, but
we don't do it.
It's much like, why is it not natural to us to do it this way?
I think it's not that it's not natural to us, but it's just that we have this sense of overachieving. Like, you want to make sure that you do more, and actually we take upon ourselves more and more things to do all the time. So our list is just like super long, and then we feel more like in charge when you have more things. Like, if I'll tell you what you have
feel
to
more important.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's something society also dictates. Like, if you deal with one thing, it's like, that's it, you're capable of doing one thing, that's lame.
I remember, you know, and it's funny because that's something I had as a manager in the advertising agency I used to work in. This is something I really worked on with my employees. I was like, I'd rather give you 1 or 2 tasks a day, finish them, come back to me, tell me you're done and I can give you more, than offloading on you 10 tasks and you're not doing anything today. And it was something I was really good at as a manager, not so good at apparently myself. But I have to tell you that now that I'm thinking about it, for example, I don't know how you packed your house before moving, but I was really proud of how I packed the house. Because what I used to do is, so I decided I'm gonna pack the bedroom. Now, I didn't have a big house, okay? It's like a two bedroom apartment, living room, bedroom, kitchen. And what I've done was going into one room, starting to pack. And I said to myself, until this room is packed, I do not start packing other rooms, because I need this one to be packed, at least with what I can pack, because there are things like I'm still living in. But then, you know how you have things that are not supposed to be in one room and they are in the room. Mm-hmm. So like they were in the bedroom, but they are actually more related living room, or they are in the bedroom, they should be in the kitchen. And and instead of doing like back and forth, and then you always like, then you move to something else, you open this other door, what I've done is I put like a box in the bedroom of like things that are not related to the packing of the bedroom. So then whenever I saw something, I was like, I'm going to put it here right now. I'm not packing it, but I'm not taking it somewhere else. So I don't do an extra thing. And whenever I finished the bedroom, I moved the box to the relevant place. So it was way more efficient this way.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same, but no, I packed, one box at a time from different rooms all over the place. Yeah, that's how I clean my house as well. Basically, I hate to admit it, but I'm not really organized, and I do a lot of things at a time, and feeling drained, actually, honestly, I feel drained because I feel I do so many things, wasting so much energy, so much time, and at the end of the day, a lot of the time I ask myself, so what have you done today? And I'm like, nothing.
But that's so that's an interesting.
And I know I'm not the only one. And if you are the same, then comment below. Let me know I'm not the only one.
You're definitely not the only one. And we're getting personal here. I have to admit that I used to think I'm an organized person, but as I grew up, I'm like, this is completely messy going on.
I don't know if it's only about being organized, but I think, and maybe let's talk about things we can do in order to stay more focused on one thing rather than, trying to multitask. Okay, so I think it's a lot about prioritizing, because we've said it so many times, those endless checklists, okay, that you have things you need to do, and it doesn't really matter if it's for your move abroad, for something else, another project, or just daily things you need to do. It's like when you look at the list and everything is in there, it's so overwhelming, and there's no way you can do all of this. So it's okay to write it down so you won't forget. That's totally fine. But it's also good to see in this list what are 3 things that must be done today. Must. It's a must. If it's not done today, then it
causes a problem. That's the thing. Like, sometimes we need to have this urgency or this extra pressure, and maybe it's not 3 things. Maybe you just need to get one thing done today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I can tell you that, I will share it with you. A couple of weeks ago, I felt like a criminal a bit, and I realized, it's been almost 3 years that I'm living in Paris, and because of different situation, personal thing, I've never declared anything to the tax officer. And I was like, I don't even know my number. And I was procrastinating it. I'll take care of it. It wasn't a must. Until one day I was like, this is a must. I need to solve this now, no matter what happened. And I don't know if you have it as well, but sometimes it's just the fact that you're telling yourself, this is a must. You find the way to do it. You stay up later. You invest the time that you need. And you know what? It wasn't that complicated to do. I literally took the train and I was like, this is happening now. I don't text, I don't answer to WhatsApp, I don't open another app, I don't look on Instagram, I don't do anything until this is solved. And then I solved it. But I think that's where we move from, it would be nice to do this, I should do this, to I have to, it's a must to do it right now, not in an hour, not in 3 days, right now, and then you actually do it.
Yeah, because otherwise it's on your to-do list, and things that are on this long to-do list, usually we get to what we really want to do, what's easiest for us to do, regarding move abroad. So you say, I'm gonna pack those books, it's the easiest. You put it there, and I'm done on the checklist. But then the important things like filing for visa, start looking for a job, start looking for a school for kids, they say like, I'll do it later, or I don't have time to do it because look at how many things I need to do. It's like, and then you feel like you're wasting your time and your energy all the time and nothing gets done. So really try to stay focused on the things that must be done now, today. And it brings me to another thing that I think it's helpful. It's about being present now. Like if you're doing something, be fully present in it instead of thinking, ooh, but I have to do this after, ooh, but I haven't done this before, but I have so many other things to do, but I should be doing this instead. No, if you made a choice, and you made a choice to do something right now, do it. Be 100% present in what you're doing. And it doesn't really matter if it's a massage you're doing right now, taking a shower, cooking, looking for a job online on LinkedIn, or playing with your kids. It doesn't really matter what you chose to do. Be fully present. Say to yourself, okay, I'm doing this for an hour and then I'll do something else. But right now, I'm here and nothing else is important. And as a mom, I can say to you that when my kids were really little and I used to play with them a lot, sitting on the ground, playing, drawing, I chose to put my phone like in the other room so I won't have to answer a call from clients or things like that, because I wanted to be 100% there in what I was doing. And same with work, for example. Okay? We work on computers all the time. When you have notification from WhatsApp, Facebook, email all the time, it's like, how can you focus? It's so distracting all the time. So give yourself, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. It depends. Really, it's really personal of how long you can do it.
Yeah.
And do that. And then say to yourself, okay, now I have 30 minutes of answering messages and emails. And now I'll give myself a break. I'll scroll down Facebook Road and whatever you want to do. But whatever you're doing, be there.
Yeah. And I think you touched on an interesting point. It's about the time. And we need to be super honest with ourselves sometimes of how much time do I need for a certain thing. And we're bad at this at 12. So we're really honest here. We're not telling you that like everything is solved for us. We're sharing with you the deepest of our daily routines. How much time do you really need for something? Because we tend to minimize it and be like, this can be done in 15 minutes. But then you find yourself 3 hours later still doing this. And it's a mix of two things. And I think that's what's important here to tell you. And I want you to pay attention to this. It might take you less time if you do what Maayan just said. If you really focus on this. If you say to yourself, right now, I need to create the to-do list for my move abroad. I need to list down all the things that are popping in my mind, and I need to have them on paper so they stop bothering me. This might take you 30 minutes. But if you'll do this while cleaning the house, talking to your husband, answering your bestie on WhatsApp, following someone on Instagram, listening to a podcast, and putting something on like making something for dinner, this will take you 5 days to get the list done. So I think it's really about one, being super honest of how long do you need for a certain task or a certain thing you want to do. Always give yourself extra time for that. Like always go on be more generous. You might be surprised. It might take less time and then you have some free time. That's amazing.
And
but not the other way around.
Yeah, we talked about time management on a different episode with Alice, and she said something really interesting. When you're moving to a new country, those day-to-day things that used to take you 15 minutes now take you 3 hours, because there are so many things that you don't know how, where, who, all those WH questions. So it actually takes you longer until you adapt yourself. So give yourself more time. If you just recently moved abroad, or if you're about to do that and there is so many things on your to-do list that you don't know how to do yet, give yourself more time. If you have to go grocery shopping and it used to take you 1 hour or 2 hours, because you know how to drive there, you know where the things are in the aisles, and now maybe it will take you 4 hours because you're not used to driving this route, you're not used to this car, you're not used to the signs, you don't know the itinerary you need to take. And then you get to the supermarket and you don't know how the aisles are arranged, and you can't find the things that you're looking for, and you have to change your plans, and it takes much longer than you planned. And that's normal. That's really okay to take more time. But while you're there, be there and not,
Because be sure that, again, one of our most out of focus tool is our phone. It's so easy to get distracted with things that are happening on our phone. And there's a reason why they say don't text and drive, right? Don't use your phone while doing something else, because eventually it's taking you off what you're currently doing. And when you're driving, it's a matter of life. But when you're doing everything, whatever you're doing, if you're doing one thing plus using your phone, you're basically not doing the one thing. And I hate to admit it because I do it all the time, but that's what we do. Like, we're so used to having our phones, and our phone is designed for this. It pops up, like there's millions of notifications, and you have I don't know about you, but I think I have over 40 apps on the phone, and then you have so many things going on there, and a reminder that you need to do this, and a reminder to do that, and basically you're always doing a million things beside what you actually wanted to do.
Yeah, and I gotta admit that sometimes it's okay to do something else, using your phone when you don't really have to be there. For example, when we're taking public transportation, the itinerary, where you have to get out of the bus, and that's okay if you're listening to a podcast or talking to a friend. Or like I shared a couple of weeks ago, when I'm folding the laundry, I like listening to a podcast because I prefer that my focus will be on the podcast rather than the huge mountain of laundry.
Great, but I'll give you the same example about listening to a podcast, because it's something, if you're listening to us right now, I realized that if I want to listen to the podcast, I cannot be on the phone.
Yeah, you can text.
I cannot text. I cannot read. I cannot scroll on Instagram. I cannot check my itinerary. I cannot. I need to listen. So maybe you can fold the laundry. Okay. Maybe you can walk as you do it. Maybe, but those are things that don't need any type of concentration other than you concentrating on listening to the podcast. So this is what I mean. If you're trying to concentrate on something specific, like listening to a podcast or watching a movie or talking to your friend, or I don't know if it happened to you. I can tell you that sometimes I will talk on the phone with a friend of mine and be like, girl, go off Instagram right now. I hear you not being here with me. You're not here. You're somewhere else. Whatever you're doing, you want to stop the conversation, because I can sense that. And I know that it happens. It's very natural. We are on the phone, usually with our ear pods, or And then we have this text that comes and you're like, whoo, conversation is somewhere else. So it's really about
where you choose to
focus your
focus on. Because, for example, when I'm cooking, okay, I really don't need to put all my attention on, how to cut the vegetable, unless I cut my finger. That's what's happening when I'm not focused. But it's like you don't really have to put all your attention there. So it's okay that
you can have a conversation at the same time. But again, what I want you to understand is that this doesn't require, this is not a type of multitasking, because if you, for example, would try to cook, fold the laundry, listen to a podcast, and shower, like give a shower to your kid, probably all four of them will not happen in the right way.
Yeah, you might be surprised, but I actually tried it and it didn't work. So yeah, trying to, get the kids organized while I'm cooking, while I'm trying to talk to you on the phone, or, I have a great idea for the business. And I'm like, shut up, focus on one thing. Because otherwise, nothing gets done. It's like half an hour just passed, I have no dinner, kids are not ready, no idea, logical idea, and nothing came out of our conversation. I tried it, I'm doing it all the time, I admit it, I'm doing it all the time, but then I realized nothing happened. 30 minutes just passed by, and what have I done? Nothing.
It's not that, that's the thing. So it's not that you haven't done nothing. It's you've started a million things without getting them achieved. And I think that's another point I want you I want everyone here to think of. Are we counting as done something that is done, finished, achieved, we close the door? Because if this is the case, and this is what makes us feel like rewarded, because when we ask ourselves at the end of the day, what have I done today? And you're only counting what you finished, then you need to make sure at the beginning of the day that those can be finished. That what are you focusing on? It goes back to your priorities. Because you've done a million things today. But if you don't consider them as what have I done today, because it's just like a blob of a lot of things, then you're actually making yourself feel worse, feel more drained, feel more stressed, feel more... So better find what works for you. It's very personal. You need to find what works for you.
I gotta admit that most of the days I spend time opening doors. Ooh, I have another idea. Ooh, I gotta do this. Ooh, open. And then it's time to start, finishing things and closing back the door, checking the box. And if you have too many doors open, too many tabs open, too many tasks to do, it's harder. It's just harder. So we make our life harder for ourselves because we want to do so many things instead of doing one thing, get it done, check the box, close the door, close the tab, and then do another. Yeah. It's like I think sorry, but I think it's a lot of women are doing this, trying to do so many things, showing that they can, showing that they are capable of doing way more than just one thing. And the end result is like things are not really finished and not really done like you imagine they will be. So what have you proven?
And to who?
It's like most of the time it's really disappointing to ourselves, I think.
And I don't know for you, but I find that on days that I tackle many things on the same day, I feel less content, more drained, and not so good about myself at the end of those days. And on contrary, on days that I do one or two things but I've done them,
And it's like start and finish.
Yeah. Then I feel amazing. You know, I am, to give you an example of my Sunday, that true, during, like, my cleaning was way longer than I anticipated. But again, be very honest with yourself of how much time do you need for a certain thing. But I woke up on Sunday morning and I was like, I'm cleaning now. Whatever time it's gonna take, this is what I do. Not very efficient, but this is what I've done. And once I finished it, I was like, now I have a couple of hours before I want to go to my Formula One event. So what am I going to do with this time? And I decided to go and sit in a coffee place and listen to a podcast. And I was like, so I can tell you very proudly that my Sunday, I've done 3 things. I cleaned the house, I listened to an amazing podcast, and I watched Formula One with my friends. In between, I took the metro, I've like talked with you, I've sent a couple of texts in between, but I've done 3 things. And I think if we have to be totally honest with ourselves, we cannot do more than 2 to 4 things a day. We just cannot. You know, who said to us like that we need 5
projects
a day? No, not a day.
at a time.
At a time, yeah. We
I
just
can
can't.
tell you, if we're being honest, that on most of my days are like I open 50 doors, 50 new tasks, finished maybe 1, and then I'm so frustrated at the end of the day. So if you're listening to us, then take example
It doesn't
of her
happen.
Sunday rather than mine.
No, but it doesn't happen to me every
I
single
know,
day.
I know.
Like
I know.
very rarely. Actually.
I know, but I think this topic is, a great reminder for us on how, because there are days when we sit down, at the beginning of the day and say, this is what needs to be done today, and this what needs to be done this week, and this what needs to be done this month. And then when we do it, it's like we're much more efficient.
Yeah, but
things are getting done.
Yeah, but I want to give you, because here we are sharing with you, super honest. We started this. On the first time that we've done it, on the today list, we had 3 things.
Yeah.
On the 7 days, we had about 10 things. On the 30 days, on the month, we had on our list about 20 things to be done. 2 weeks later, on our today list, we had 10 things. And that's where actually we stopped doing this.
Because it was
because it was overwhelming and we actually didn't keep up. So what's the point of keep on doing this?
Yeah.
So it's a reminder to us as well. Here we are, like talking to us.
I really hope we're not gonna lose, listeners here and subscribers, because we show you our true self. This is totally honest. We're not perfect.
No.
We're still learning all the time how to get better, how to do things, in a better way, how to live better, how to, organize our lives abroad and, as business owners. And it's like, sometimes it's a mess, and we bring you the good stuff and the messy stuff as well. And it's like we have the tools, we know them, it's like in our notebook, but we don't always use them. So this was a great reminder, I think, for us as well. I really hope for you as well, and I really hope you won't leave us because we're messy.
No, we're authentic and we're true, and I think that's the beauty of life. We're not here to tell you all the time, ooh, everything's perfect. No, not at all. And I think that's what you actually like about us if you're listening to us, because we're true to you, with you, and we're sharing it as it is. So yeah, if I have to sum up a little bit of what we said today, I would say like one thing is tackle on less things every single day. Choose 1 to max 3 things that are a must today. Then, if you finish them and you still have energy, things will come up. You will remember things that you can do extra. But right now, put yourself maximum 3 things that are a must. It's not should, it's not wish, it's not what would be nice, must today. Give yourself extra time for each of those. Like, don't try to say, ooh, this will take me only 10 minutes. It never takes 10 minutes. And
be present.
And be present.
While you're doing something, be there, the whole of yourself, be there. Focus all your energy, your attention, everything should be, in one place. Then things will be much easier for you.
Yeah.
And for us as well.
So we're gonna finish this podcast and go and write our must do for today. So we're gonna practice what we preach. And yeah, we hope you liked today's episode. And if you did, then like, review, share, subscribe, do everything you need to do. Comment, tell us what you liked about this episode today. And we really look forward to seeing you in the next one.